Right, now this will tell us. And that's pretty conclusive. Still going. Close. I think he's got it down.
How strong is he?
Well, welcome back to the Pick and Go podcast. It's your one-stop shop for all things Super Rugby. Well, no, not Super Rugby. That's all over. So we'll have a look at some international rugby. And then later on in the season, we'll be getting stuck into the NPC, which I know a lot of fans just love to get their feet stuck into. So, surprise, surprise, joining me in studio, former All Black, Piri, and he's been away for a couple of weeks now, and I think he was so sad after the Hurricanes knocked out in the semi-final of Super Rugby. He just could not face coming here and talking to Searle. So, Piri, welcome back, bro.
Oh, it's good to be back, actually. It's banter that's going to happen very shortly. But yeah. I am fully recovered.
Where you been?
I've been busy.
Yeah.
I was away last week with our quadrangular tournament, which we did okay. And yeah, just busy with first 15 and.
So quadrangular tournament. That means there were, I guess, 3 other teams. How'd you go?
We finished third. We got a hiding from Nelson College, who I think might be ranked in the top 10 in New Zealand at the moment. But apparently that was their best game they've played all seasons to date. I was hoping that they could have done it later on, not with. But yeah, they beat us quite convincingly and went on to beat Christ College in the major final, and then we played against Whanganui Collegiate in the minor final, and we managed to get a win there. So it was a tough old week for the boys, but happy that they sort of were able to turn things around on our last day.
Right, we'll head up north to our good friend Ben Searle of Searle Talk Sports, and of course he was happy with the way the Super Rugby tournament finished. Well, he had $1 each way. It didn't matter who won. He was either Chiefs Mana or he was all over the Blues.
I see you can't have 50-50. You got to pick one.
One or other. Well, Searle, what do you say to that?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, not all of us are in the position to be at Hurricanes training every day in the inner sanctum, just seeing how everything works. So I understand why you needed a couple of weeks off there, Piri, because yeah, that would have hurt. Kane's best team all year, and just when the stage got bigger, they couldn't rise to the bright lights. The tinny house got the better of them. The trophy stays in the upper north, and it's winning territory up here. It hasn't rained since the Blues won. It's been a bit cold, but the sun's been shining every day.
Here it is. Maybe I should have come back last week. Just so I could get it over and done with.
Yeah.
I guess myself and Searle have already dissected the semi-final loss to the Chiefs, but if you look back at that game, Piri, where do you think the Hurricanes lost it, or where the Chiefs won it?
I think Chiefs just won it through constant pressure across the board. Like Canes were doing things that they don't usually do, especially when they're trying to chase their tail on the points. And I think some of that pressure built up, made a few errors. But I mean, yeah, Chiefs just come with the right attitude on the day in terms of how they wanted to play footy. It wasn't just on the attack side of it, but it was the defence side as well. So, yeah, I think they applied a lot of pressure throughout the full 80 minutes of the game.
Any standout players for you out of that semi-final?
Sititi, definitely. Like he was, it already says why he's been selected in the All Blacks squad at the moment. D-Mac still doing his thing. and Cortez getting a few meat pies as well, like he being where he needs to be with that up the fat man's track there up the middle of the field and being in the right place at the right time. But those two in unison worked pretty well all season.
Yeah, I think Sititi, Searle, if there was a player who timed his run to perform in front of the All Black selectors, he was the one there. It's no good playing top rugby at the beginning of the Super Rugby season. You want to be doing it at the business end, and that's certainly what he did. And I guess that combined with his age sort of made it a wee bit almost logical for the All Black selectors to chuck him in that first squad of the year.
Yeah, I think Razor said as much, didn't he? He kind of said the bigger the occasion got, the better Wallace played. And a lot of people have been arguing that perhaps he only had 5 or 6 good weeks as compared to Hoskins, who's been really strong over the last couple of years. But I think they saw enough in that glimpse. Like, he was still great in the final. He was probably the Chiefs' best player in the final because he didn't stop going as go forward. He was still like laying a platform for a Chiefs pack that got dominated. So yeah, that along with 21 years old, his versatility as well. He can play 6 and 8. And when you look at the loose forwards Razor's picked, all of them have the ability to cover multiple positions. I think they've just got him in there as a sponge, and he's going to learn a heck of a lot over the next few weeks. He said Artie's his idol as well, which is pretty special for him. And you can see that they play a fairly similar style of code already, but just being in that All Blacks environment with Artie as well is going to be massive for him.
Did you watch the final, Piri?
Parts of it.
See, he takes it to heart. He's very, very sad.
No,
I can
I
tell.
definitely watched it.
Right, so
It was a good final. Like, I mean, like we talked about 3 teams being at the top there that potentially could make it a very entertaining final, and they pretty much proved that by being in the semis, and then pushing on with the Chiefs and the Blues finishing the job, and the Blues obviously coming up with the trophy. But yeah, I definitely watched it. It was actually a good watch. It was a very physical encounter, and I think, you know, the Blues probably played a bit better with the conditions. I think it was raining up there at the time, wasn't it? So
yeah, Shirley can confirm it was raining.
I think they just played the better footy in that sort of weather, where I think the Chiefs probably thought that they could still try and run, play it like they were playing dry footy.
Is it surprising then that the Blues didn't get more forwards into the All Black squad than they actually did? I guess we've already mentioned Sititi. Riccatelli, I guess, could be another one that maybe you look at and think he was unlucky not to make it there. Because there's I'm not saying there's a conspiracy, so but there's quite a few Crusader forwards in that squad.
Oh, conspiracy.
I'm saying because they've been there and done that before, but the Blues forwards certainly were a big reason that team won the championship this year.
Yeah, you could say conspiracy if you want, but I mean, Razors are obviously had the luxury of coaching those boys. Obviously, wasn't there a year, the Crusaders boys, obviously with new coach and just working through ironing out through a few things. So he kind of knows the caliber of players and what he wants, and obviously some of the areas that he's picked those Crusader boys is through some of his work that he's done over the past 5 years.
Right, I've got a question of the week, and we'll start with you, Searle. Of the players who weren't selected because of injury, who are you most looking forward to get back into that black jersey? And, well, when I wrote this, I was thinking Sam Cane, Will Jordan, Toki Aho, and Roy Gard.
Yeah, for me, I think it's Will Jordan. He's been waiting in the wings, literally, just getting his opportunity in the 15 jersey. I'm really excited to see him stamp his claim on that and just dominate that position until the next World Cup cycle. We've seen how good he can be there at Super Rugby level. We've seen how strong he is at international level on the wing. And now it's his chance to do that in the All Blacks jersey for a very long time to come. We obviously haven't got a specialist fullback at the moment in the squad. We've got 3 first fives that can all cover 15. So it looks like Bodie's going to get the nod there. But I think having Will Jordan there just makes that back three so exciting. And it seems like it's been forever since we've seen him play. So I'm really excited to get Will Jordan back out there on the paddock. And I think under Razor, he'll get the best out of him as well. I think he has potential still to go to another level, which is scary for other teams.
Piri, for you, out of those 4 players, who are you most excited to see get back?
I had 2.
Yeah?
Will Jordan was one of them.
Yep.
Purely through what Searle's just said. Another one's obviously wanting Cam Roigard to come back. Just because this would have been his year to actually push for number 1 spot. Now that Nagy sort of moved on to Japan. He had a pretty good season last year in the black jersey. Probably should have had a few more opportunities, but I think before his injury, he was definitely going to be the number 1 contender to be the number 1 halfback.
Yeah, well, I'm very keen to see Roy go back in there. I have a look at the 3 halfbacks that we've chosen, and I don't think there's a standout there, to be fair. So it'll be interesting to see who Razor goes with in the first test against England. Cam Roigard, I thought, was the best, not just the best halfback in Super Rugby before he got injured. I think you could make a case that he was close to the best player in Super Rugby before he got injured. He was just hands just way above everyone else in terms of, first of all, his game management, his ability to identify opportunities, his running with the ball. He always seemed to choose the right time to have a wee bit of a dart with the ball. And he looks like he's got the body where he can take a few bumps and that off of the loose forwards and still be okay. So, yeah, real keen to see him. Will Jordan, once again, I think you're right, Searle. They're keeping the seat warm for Will Jordan, which is why we haven't actually seen an out-and-out fullback selected in this first squad, because he'll be slotting straight back in once he's over his injury. Of course, Sam Cane, who's one of the toughest All Blacks to play the game. And I think he gives, first of all, the leadership. Obviously, Scott Barrett's the captain, but Sam Cane, I think, will bring a whole lot of experience to just help if and when he does get selected. And, of course, Toki Aho, not saying I'm not excited, but we've got 3 very, very good hookers there. Toki Aho will come back in when he's fit again. But Cody Taylor showed once he started once he got into Super Rugby, he really started to lift that Crusaders pack. And I don't think it was a coincidence that they really started to turn the heat up when he came back into the side. And, of course, we saw what Omua did after he came back from his injury as well. Boy, oh boy. He is a very tough man to tackle. If you're on the field, you want to be on his side, not the other side, because he is just so robust on it. You cannot wrap your arms around his bloody thighs. No way.
Ball of concrete.
A ball of concrete. Beautiful.
I felt that before. Numerous times.
Righty-ho. Let's have a look now towards the first test, All Blacks v England. And I guess, first of all, Searle, we can have a little go and try and pick Razor's starting 15, if you like. If you look at that team, you already mentioned that you think Bodie's going to be in the number 15 jersey, and I agree as well. But further from that, if you look at the back line, do you see any room for a debutant?
Oh, maybe a Cortez Ratamar off the bench. if he goes with Finlay or TJ to start, just for the more experienced duo there. I think the hardest position for me to pick at the moment is the wings, because you've got 4 wingers who are all in form, really. You could argue Mark Talia's probably the most out of form out of all of them, but I think he's established himself as that starting winger just because of how good he was at the World Cup. And still, he's such a threat around the paddock, and his work rate is outstanding. But Caleb Clark, Severy, Simone, they've all been playing outstanding footy. So I think for me, the wings and the back line is the hardest position to pick. And then it just comes down to who starts, who's off the bench, and that halfback dynamic that he goes for. But I still think you'll see Geordie and Rico in the midfield as expected. I think Bodie will be at the back. I'd like to see Cortez off the bench because I think he could bring a real spark of energy. And then it comes down to whether they go with TJ or Finlay for me in the 9.
Piri, your back line. First of all, the halfbacks. Do you see them leading with TJ with all the experience that he has?
It's a tough one because I know the type of footy that the England team have sort of or what they're capable of, and I don't know whether you go with physicality or try and work with speed to try and keep the pace of the game going. I know Nagy was really good with that. He could play 80 minutes of explosive and fast footy. So yeah, it'll be an interesting dynamic on which way they go. But yeah, I'd probably look to either bring maybe for the first test, probably not bring Cortez on just so that they can see how things pan out, and then maybe for the second one, second opportunity for him to be sitting on the bench and get his crack. But I think in terms of being able to see the what test footy's like when you're in that environment, it's different, and I'm hoping that he'll pick it up pretty quick. But I'd look to, if it was me, I'd probably start TJ just through his physicality and his ability to organise, and then Christie come off the bench to speed the game up in the back end of the field game.
So we've got McKenzie.
Oh, yep. Sorry. Do you think being under the roof kind of affects the decision as well? Obviously, like, conditions aren't going to play a factor, so you have that ability to play fast footy regardless of what the elements are doing. Do you think they go Finlay there and then TJ's experience to ride at home and then look to flip it in Eden Park where it could perhaps be wet and a bit more physical? Or do you think it just comes down to they've already got it set in their mind and they're going to stick with it regardless?
I reckon they've probably got it set already in terms of how they want their game to be started and who they want to sort of bring off the bench. It's just which way you want to go, whether it's the physical side of it first to start with, start sort of fatiguing their forwards, and then sort of bringing on that injection of pace through the nippier halfback that can finish the game off. But yeah, totally. It depends, I guess, especially around. I know TJ's experience to close out a game would be handy at the back end as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see which way they go, whether it's going to be TJ to start or Christie. You never know. Razor might throw a spanner in the works and start Cortez.
Does the fact they have a San Diego test against Fiji coming up in the not too distant future, does that sort of, I guess, lean towards we can blood some of those debutants in San Diego as opposed to against the 2-test series against England here, Searle?
Yeah, I think so. At the same time, after what Fiji showed at the World Cup, I wouldn't be underestimating them too much as well. And last time we went on one of these exhibition money-raising games over in the States, it didn't end up too well for us against a quality Irish side, to be fair. But I still think against Fiji, they'll look to start their best or close to their best side, and then there'll be a few guys on the bench there, like your George Bells and that, who are probably there at the moment just to get that experience. 21 years old, well behind Asafo Amoa and Cody Taylor and Talkiaho, I think, currently, but they're the future. So they're there to kind of just be a sponge and absorb it all, and they might get a little run off the bench against Fiji, but if they all start, I'll be nervous going into that game because, yeah, that Fijian side at the World Cup showed they can beat anyone on their day and they'll certainly make you work for it.
So I think we've definitely landed on Mackenzie in the 10, Bodie in the 15, Geordie and Rico in the midfield. When maybe not quite sure about the wingers, probably Talia and Clark, maybe Reese slotting in there somewhere. Reese was very, very good for the Crusaders all season long.
He made you some money.
Hey?
He made you some money in your bets.
Yes, he did. Thank you.
Well, we made Paulie some money by suggesting them. Yeah.
That's true.
Let's have a look at the loose forwards then. I'm guessing Artie Severe will have the 8 jersey on. Probably Dalton Papali'i in the 7. With, I guess, where do we go now? Blackadder or Finau in the 6?
Yeah, I like Samapeni there just for that physicality, and I think his Super Rugby season warrants the start more than Blackadder, who was so injury affected. I think that trio balances itself out perfectly. You've got 3 big physical bodies, but they're also versatile and they can ball play. And if I'm Marcus Smith or whoever's wearing the 10 jersey for the English, I am avoiding Finau, at all costs. And I think he just brings that fear factor about him. Like, they'll be watching tape from Super Rugby to try and see what they can expect from this All Blacks team. And if that's showing up on the highlights, I'm staying at the hotel.
Locks Piri, not too tough here. Scott Barrett, and probably Tupo Va'ai, just to give Tuipolotu another week's rest and maybe give him the start for the Eden Park test. No, you're going to throw him in.
Oh, I mean, he was probably one of the form locks.
Yeah, I'd throw him in if you can play a Super Rugby final. If I'm Razor, I'm saying if you can play that, you can play this for us. And I think Paddy's been that long out of the environment too that he's still going to have a point to prove. Like, he wanted that Super Rugby title, but I'm sure he wants to show that he should have been an All Black over this last 4-year period.
Yeah, I'll definitely go with Paddy.
Rightio, front row. Where do we go? I'm guessing we start with Cody Taylor, and we can have O'Moore off the bench. To just absolutely the ball of concrete to do a bit of damage in that final quarter or so of the test match. But the props, Searle, where do we go here?
I think I'm running back that World Cup combination of De Groot and Lomax. And for me, that's the combination. And then you have Tamaiti Williams and Co off the bench just for some more size and power. But I think De Groot and Lomax showed that they can be arguably one of the best propping duos in the world. So I would have them in there. And I think Ryan in particular gets the best out of both of them as a coach. So that's the duo I'd be going for. And I think Lomax, we saw him take a massive step up last year. I think he's going to go another level again. And those two, and they could be a real force to be reckoned with. That front row, when you think about Cody Taylor in the middle there, and then the impact we have off the bench as our front row as well, they can all ball play, they can all carry, they're strong at set piece. That's that modern day prop, modern day front row, and we've got plenty of bodies that can all execute that role, which is exciting. It's whether we see a Tossie or someone like that off the bench who, man, like seeing him, all the content throughout the week, he is a giant. The more you see him, the more you like him. So that would be exciting for me.
I'm glad you bring that up because I was at the airport and he was there too. And I didn't realize how big that fellow was. He is huge, man. I have no doubt he'll get onto the field at some stage during these first 3 test matches of the season. But for you as a Tyrell, well, you would know. Tyrell probably already told you he's starting. Did he tell you?
No, he doesn't.
What? Give us the oil from the Nui. We know that we know that.
It was the night Tara. It's a bit different area now.
Oh, shit, he lives near me then.
Yeah, you must know Paulie, surely.
Yeah. Just thinking, hey, cuz.
Oh, I never see him down the realm, so I don't know.
No, it's probably not his vibe.
That's not his vibe.
But yeah, I'd probably say Tyrell, the group, really, like Searle said, they were phenomenal last year, and both of them actually for their franchises were solid even more. And I think there's another chance for them to step up, especially on the international stage, where they started, getting their form right.
Now, historically, the All Blacks have usually started slowly in the season and then gradually built up momentum and got better and better as the season went on. It's sort of changed slightly now that we have like World Cup years and things like that. But England have already had a bit of a warm up against Japan. They were very, very good there. There was only one team in it. The boys, and I'll be interested to hear what you guys think, have got the All Blacks $1.17 favourite against England, who are $4.60. They're 12.5-point favourites, the All Blacks. Do you think that's where it should be, Searle? Or are you thinking 12.5, that's not enough? The All Blacks are they're going to run away with this.
Oh, see, I always come into first test slightly nervous, particularly on such a short turnaround. It'll be 12 days by the time kickoff comes around where this team has been together, and albeit Razor will factor that into his selections, and I think we'll see a pretty similar side to what played in that World Cup final last year in terms of everyone who's available will be out there. But I'm glad it's come in from that 14.5 that it was last week when we spoke. And I think England were like $5.20 head to head as well. So clearly a few punters have sensed that maybe could be a slightly slower start under this regime. For me, it's either going to be really tight or we put 20 on them. I don't think there's that middle ground. So I'm still battling a bit with how it's going to play out. I think under the roof suits us because it allows us to dictate terms a little bit more and play that style of footy that we want to play. And if we go all out razzle, then I don't think England will be able to go with us. It's just whether they allow us to do that. And England in the past against the All Blacks have been so good at just dragging us into an arm wrestle. And I think they feel quite confident taking us on these days because recent results seem to have been either very tight or more so in their favour, in my memory anyway. That's whether the losses hurt more or not. But yeah, I think the English will be pretty confident. You've seen them out and about. They're fishing. They're at the Warriors. They're out doing charity work. They seem like a team that's pretty bonded. They're quite tight. And they look like they're slightly backing themselves. So I think this is going to be a heck of a game to start off with.
It was great to see the England team out there amongst the community helping out. So, I think that does build that team chemistry and that team camaraderie. But Searle just mentioned England have that ability to drag you into the sort of style that they want to play. Were you ever part of a test where you played against England or another team and they made you play their style as opposed to you guys being able to play the way you wanted? Did you play on that test at the Tinny House that England won? England won. That was a few years ago now.
I don't think so.
I think it was Rodney Soyalo was, I think, number 8. Did you play any test matches with Rodney?
I played a few.
Oh, the laugh. There it is.
So, but look,
maybe they're probably definitely Northern Hemisphere have a different style of footy that they play. I know most of it's forward orientated as opposed to how we like to sort of throw the ball around in the Southern Hemisphere, utilizing the skill set of our forwards, not just our backs. And I think they've actually, grown their game, because if you look at how Ireland play footy, probably doesn't help that their head coach is a ex-leggy. But you see their pack throwing sort of front or back door opportunities. They're carrying the ball into contact, and they're real, accurate with what they try to achieve. And not only that, England did beat them in the Six Nations, which made things a lot difficult for Ireland. But I think the style of footy that they've been, or the brand of footy that the Northern Hemisphere are playing at the moment, is not the usual style that we're used to seeing. They actually moving the ball around quite a bit with their forwards. Obviously, they'll stick to some of their basic stuff, which is the forwards, crashing, bashing, trying to suck you in, and then try and move it out to the edges. They've got a little bit of that with a little bit of expressing themselves now with their skill sets. So, yeah, I'm a bit like Searle. Like the first game is most nervous one of the year to watch because I wouldn't take much out of the Japanese game, but England usually just come out of their competition, and they've still got a bit of momentum from their Six Nations, whereas we haven't had any sort of international footy through our rugby season, where it's only sort of just been Super Rugby. So obviously it's a step up from what we used to seeing on the weekend. But yeah, I'm quite nervous. I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty tight game until both teams understand what they're capable of, and then the second test is usually a blowout for one of them.
All right, go. Get ready.
Can't say which one.
Get ready for the second test, a blowout. Look, there were a few international test matches played over the last week or so. I guess if we look at one of them, it was the Maori All Blacks beating Japan. And there are a number of, I guess you could say, fringe players in that Maori All Black side who, if they put in some very, very good performances, could very well see them step up to the All Black side in full. If you look at that game against that Japan 15, not a full Japanese side, although there were a whole lot of Japanese test players in that Japan 15. If you look at the performance of the Māori team, is there anyone that sticks out for you, Searle, who said, hey, I deserve a go at the All Blacks. I deserve to be recognised. Someone like maybe a Cullen Grace, who, of course, has had his injury problems. Anyone in that team that you thought, wow,
Yeah, I thought the forward pack as a whole was really strong. I had Cullen Grace written down, I had Billy Harmon written down, and it's a shame that he is off to Japan, but maybe that performance he put in earns himself a couple extra zeros, because no doubt they were watching that pretty closely. Guys like Cam Sorfoa, I was really impressed by the forward pack as a whole, and I think the most pleasing thing for me was the fact that a lot of these guys had just played the weekend before, a couple days before. They're chucked into a camp. They're flown over to Japan, such a short turnaround. And clearly they have an unreal environment, because you could see the passion every time they throw on that Māori jersey. And that's probably enough alone to get them over the line. But it was an emotional occasion, the passing, obviously, of Conagard and Bishop. And I thought that they just came together on such short notice and put out a really good performance against the Japan side, like you mentioned, Paulie, who are no slouch. And they made it look fairly easy in the second half once they hit their straps. So I thought this was a really strong shift off the back of a really minimal preparation. And certainly that forward pack for me showed that there's so much depth in New Zealand rugby at the moment. There's another handful of names you could chuck into that side too, probably more, and they wouldn't look out of place. So I think once they sort out their exits and structures and just refine that a little bit more, which comes with time together, that's a heck of a team that would beat a lot of top international sides.
Piri, if you look at that Māori All Black lineup, and Searle's already sort of mentioned the loose forward trio, who were very, very good. If you look at the back line, Quinton Tupaia, we see him getting back into the role of things. Josh Morby, who can't have been too far away from an All Black call-up. Rivers Reihana. Anyone in the back line that you look at and think, I can see that player making the step up to All Black selection?
I think just Tupaia for me, was unfortunate of his injury. I reckon he would have probably gone to the World Cup because he was in great form, and just that environment probably nothing wrong with the environment that he's in with the Māori team, but I think he'll be able to step up definitely if they were to call someone up. But there was probably one player on the opposition that I was pretty impressed with was the fullback, Yazaki. He was quite young. I think he's only 21. He come looking for mahi in the middle of the field. It's not often you see your fullback coming into the middle of the field and running into packs and still beating one or two defenders. But I thought from that side of it, he's definitely a product that they want to make sure that they nurture really well, because, man, he was pretty electric too with his opportunities and created something out of nothing on the odd occasion.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Aussie Eddie has got his eyes on a number of those players, and he'll be using these two matches against the Māori to get a better idea of just where his strengths and maybe where some of his weaknesses lie in that Japanese test team. Other fixtures that happened over that, South Africa pouring more pain on Wales, 41-13, played at Twickenham, Searle. South Africa just rolling on from where they left off at the World Cup.
Yeah, they're a quality team, aren't they? And you can't help but look ahead as a rugby fan and as an All Black fan, because whenever there's two games over there, straight away, you got to kind of stay focused because your mind drifts to those matchups already and the excitement around that. So I can't wait for that in the Rugby Championship because, yeah, we don't get those clashes much these days, that rivalry between the All Blacks and South Africa, especially two games back-to-back touring over there, and the supporter base that they have and the importance they put on beating the All Blacks. It's going to be some games. But, yeah, South Africa, really strong, just doing what they do every year. They're still a force to be reckoned with.
There's never a small South African pack, Piri. You probably know that. And they really have continued on from that form that won them the Rugby World Cup. They're a very, very tough team to break down.
Yeah, I think Wales just aren't even at the stage of competing really well. They won no games in the Six Nations, and I think they're probably looking to work on a few things and potentially look at other opportunities or potential to regrow or have a chart where they've got growth in areas that they need, especially around the 9-10, or even just their spine in general. But South Africa, yeah, it's like they haven't stopped from last year. They've just continued, and obviously their depth is massive, and I think they're getting good gains in the competition in the Northern Hemisphere as well.
The other one we'll look at, the Fijians took on the Barbarians in a very, as you would expect, the Barbarians game, always open, flowing rugby, Searle, and that's certainly what we got here. And you're right, the Fijians showed they can match it with the best, and they'll be a tough matchup in San Diego when the All Blacks meet them.
Yeah, they're no joke, man. And I'm really excited for them over this next World Cup cycle, because through the introduction of the drawer and then the quality players they have over in Europe, you seem to know what you're going to get from them more, but they've still got that excitement, that X factor, that physicality, and someone who's been spoken a lot about over here, Wallace Sititi, he's eligible for them next year. So you throw a body like that in the mixer if he's not in Razor's calculations, and they could go up another level as well. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting times for Fiji and rugby when you think about everything that's going on over there.
I have no doubt the fact that the Drua have been in the Super Rugby comp for a couple of seasons now. This is just going to help Fijian rugby internationally as well. Of course, they've got players all over the world, but that really gives them a good base, a foundation to work off. And that Fijian team, they're no longer the team that we can roll up and they'll throw the ball around, but we'll beat them by 30 or 40. That's just not a given anymore.
I'll tell you what, if they were to go back to Fiji and play this game, I would be backing them to potentially roll the boys over.
Whoa! Hello.
I mean, you look at how passionate that island is to support the Drua, and just imagine the atmosphere that it'll create if they took the game there to Fiji and how electric it would be, I reckon those boys would grow an extra arm in the leg or just to get the job done, because it's not often that you get to tip over an All Blacks team, and to do it at home in front of your family, your nation, and friends. Man, that would just speak volumes for Fiji rugby. But even though it already is, but I mean, yeah, if this game, I reckon if this game was in Fiji, it would be an opportunity where I think the Fijian team would actually tip the boys over.
Wow, that's headline stuff. I love that. Let's get to anyone got a hunch for this weekend? Throw to you first, Searle, if you've got a hunch.
Oh, not so much a hunch. I just have a feel it's going to be good for the Rugby Championship sides, the four of them. I think this is a weekend where they get the clean sweep. I think it's going to be tough for the tourists and the home sides get the dub. So it's not really a hunch, more a prediction. I don't have any creative stories like what you have, Paulie. I'm interested to see if you've been picking English roses or you've been bumping into Springboks at cafes in Wellington, what the go is, mate, because you've often got some pretty out the gate stories.
No, I haven't got one this week. All I can say is I was watching telly the other day, and it was I think it was a Game of Thrones thing, and the dragon was getting killed. So I don't hold too much hope for Wales against Australia this weekend. In fact, I think Australia are going to run away with this one. So I'm happy to take them 13 and over at $1.87. The Wallabies $1.87 to win by 13 or more.
Did you ever think about that before you said, "Oh, do I really want to support the Wallabies?"
Well, I'm not supporting. This is my hunch. This is all it is. My hunch.
Well, that's an interesting one, right? Because if the Wallabies have any pride, Wales pants them at the World Cup. So this is a chance to kick off that next World Cup cycle with a real statement under a coach that if they can't rise and play good footy under him, then they're in major trouble. So, yeah, I could see that happening.
It's been a while since I've actually worked on having a hunch on anything, but I was pretty much going to go down the same line as Searle.
What, just take all the championship teams?
Well, just
All Blacks, Wallabies, Springboks, Argentina. I'll put that together right now, and I'll tell you how much that's paying. It's okay. Oh, it's telling me all those events are closed. I don't know why.
I just reckon Argentina might get the job done because a few of the French boys might be on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I was thinking too. I was worried about that last game, but then I saw that photo of Anton Dupont playing, wearing Warriors kit, and clearly they're ripping into a few fine French wines at the moment. So, yeah.
Would they pick him? Has he been selected in the bloody Olympic team?
Well,
I think he's lining up to take on the Bulldogs this weekend at a core stadium for the Warriors after Webby saw that.
Vive la Oise! Vive la Oise! Those four teams, the championship teams, to win their test matches this weekend, comes out at $3.08.
Yeah.
If you like that. So I think that's a pretty good segue into a wee bit of betting. And we'll have $100 each. I think last week we put a few futures bets on how the All Blacks were going to go during the season. And I'll get Piri's take on that a bit later. But for this week, Searle, where are you going to spend your $100 on those internationals that are available at the moment?
So I have a $70 three-leg multi. I just left Argentina out of it and just went with the other Rugby Championship sides because I think that's probably the hardest game to pick is that Argentina-France one. So I just went All Blacks, Wallabies, and South Africa all head-to-head, only paying $2.05, but I'll take that to hopefully get me closer to being back in the green. And then obviously All Blacks team's not out at the moment, but to back up my bet last week of Cody Taylor being our top try scorer, I'd love to see him dot down here off the back of a rolling maul. So I'll chuck $30 on him anytime.
Oh, I can't believe this. I can't believe it.
Oh, Paulie, you're not control Ving my bets, are you? For all the boomers out there, that means copy paste, but surely not.
Well, we'll go to Piri now, but
No, I want to hear this now.
Surely there's an Alex Talia in there or something.
I was going to go Cody Taylor as well to score a try, but because Searle's taken it, I'll put that to the side. I'm tempted to take O'Moore, but
What? Hang on. Why all of a sudden have you gone from your wingers to a hooker?
Yeah, this makes me nervous. Can I change my bet? This is nerve-wracking.
What's going on here?
I'm just thinking line out, 5 meters out. Taylor
Mm.
throws it in, bang, brings it down, at the back, boom, forward pressure, over the line, bang, try. However, I'll go.
He's thought about it. He's thought about it.
Long and hard about that one.
I'll go because Searle's already taken that. I'll go somewhere else. First of all, I'll put $50 on Australia to win by 13 or more at $1.87. And then in the All Black test, I'll split it. I'll go two $25 anytime try scorer bets here. And as we record this on a Tuesday morning, the teams haven't been named, so we're sort of shooting in the dark a wee bit. But I think we did decide that Bodie was probably going to be in the 15 jersey. So I'm going to take Bodie to score a try. I think he'll slot in there nicely in that back line somewhere. And then I'll stay a wee bit closer to the action. I'm going to go Artie Severe to score a try as well. I can see him. He's in amongst everything. So where the ball is, you'll usually see Artie Severe. So that usually means that you're going to get a few opportunities to cross the try line. So Artie Severe to score a try as well.
That would be a good power play, right? The sabbatical special. Both blokes that are fresh back to New Zealand rugby, both to score a try. Suggest that to the bookies there, Paulie.
Let's get that. Yeah, the sabbatical double.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm going 25 on the championship teams to get the W on a multi. I'm going to go with Geordie Barrett to score a meat pie. I don't know if he's starting, but
I get the feeling,
as you already know,
I get the feeling he'll be starting.
Yeah.
After you've just told me about the rolling Moore and Cody Taylor scoring a meat pie, England are pretty notorious at stopping Moore, so they won't get that opportunity, which means that they'll have to use someone to run for a brick wall, and Geordie will be that man that they'll utilise. And then I'm going to go for a draw at halftime between the All Blacks and England.
Oh,
wow. Let me have a look. Hold on. I think
Something different.
let's have a look. First half result. No. Oh, it's not there at the moment.
Oh, come on.
Well, we'll get the boys to sort that out for you.
That's usually out there, already there, isn't it?
Usually I can't see it here. First half markets, odds, evens, no. Match markets. Winning team. Oh, there's a try bet. Oh, there's one for Searle. I thought Searle might take that. Either team to win by 7 or under. He said it's going to be either close or it's going to be a blowout. $3.30 for either team to win by 7 under 7.5. Doesn't look the worst.
no.
I think we've done it. Almost. I'm just having a look at the promotions. Make sure you check out the promotions. I'm sure the boys will have them up there. Of course, you can still get on the Oval Ball Mega Multi. Get up to a $50 in bonus cash back. You check out all the T's and C's on the TAB website there. And I'm just having a look. Anything on the All Black test? Nothing at the moment. It doesn't look like. Boys might still be working on it. So, yeah, just check out all the promotion on the TAB website or on the app. Piri, the boys playing this weekend. What are you up to?
Yep, we're back to our Wellington competition. We go up against Parapara College and meant to be from other results. We should get the W, but boys are sort of might get ahead of themselves and get a bit complacent, and so we've got to try and bring them back to reality. Right? They're not the top dogs of this competition. That they need to sort their head out and make sure that they go there prepped, ready to go to war and get the job done. But yeah, just a bit of that, and then my daughter's got her rep team's going to the North Island Champs on Saturday. So
What, netball?
Yep, head up to Taranaki. I'll go and support her and coach her netball, her school netball team on Saturday as well before I take off to go and coach the boys. So pretty busy weekend, and hopefully I can get the opportunity to go up to Taranaki and watch my girl.
Beautiful, nice. Searle, what's happening up Northcote Way?
We have it's the quarterfinals this week, but we finished second, so we got the week off, which is tough because we had the bye last week. So 2 weeks off, that can go either way. We've got some tough training sessions this week, which makes it even more annoying because, man, that just means fitness. So yeah, we'll have a semi-final next weekend at home. So another week off for the boys, so to speak.
Is there any plans to have like a sneaky in-house game just to try and keep the boys fresh and ready to go as opposed to on the line?
Yeah, well, that's the toughest thing is because our Bees have a quarterfinal this weekend. So ideally they would have finished top 2 as well. And then we could have had a bit of a trot out there on the Saturday. But yeah, they've got a big game. So I don't think they'll want to bang a few bodies on Tuesday or Thursday either. But yeah, there might be a bit of 13 on 13 or something like that, which is always horrible as well because there's just guys out there to prove a point regardless if you say don't go hundies. All it takes is one guy to hit a counter ruck at full speed and then all of a sudden we're not teammates anymore. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen either. As a first 5, I just want to practice drop kicks, things that are going to come into play in finals footy.
So he's basically saying he's got the red bib, don't touch him at training.
Yeah, I'll have the yellow bib on. As we speak, the hamstring's feeling tighter and tighter, so I might have to sit that opposed session out. Absolutely.
What is it? It's the gold shorts in Golden Oldies rugby, isn't it? You can't tackle them.
Oh, there we go.
I think the red shorts are you wear flags now.
Okay.
What are you up to this weekend, Paulie?
I'm in a very, very quiet weekend. Not 100% at the moment, so you get that rest and relaxation. Watch the footy on the weekend and come back next week back at 100%. I hope. So yeah, or maybe play some golf.
Did you sign any signatures over the weekend at all?
No, I didn't sign any signatures. Thanks for asking. Right, and thank you for listening to the Pick and Go podcast. Don't forget to come back next week when we'll review that first test between the All Blacks and England, as well as the other test matches that are on, and look forward to the second test. Go well, and up the All Blacks.